Whether you're browsing the morning news or logging into a health portal to check a prescription, complex software works quietly in the background. It is completely normal to feel uneasy about how fast this technology has integrated into our routines. When an algorithm suddenly anticipates what we want to read or what we might need to buy, the experience can feel invasive. But despite what decades of science fiction have conditioned us to expect, artificial intelligence is not a thinking, autonomous creature. It does not have a mind of its own. It is, at its core, a highly advanced software program. To feel comfortable using these tools, we need to look past the Hollywood myths. We have to look at the actual computer science that makes them work. The foundation of modern AI relies on a structure called an artificial neural network. This diagram illustrates what that network looks like. It is modeled loosely after the physical interconnections of the human brain, using layers of digital nodes instead of biological neurons. But when first built, this digital framework is completely empty. It knows absolutely nothing. Curious, so how does a blank slate of code learn to translate languages, answer medical questions, or draft an email? The architecture is entirely useless on its own. To do anything helpful, it has to be fed human experience. Engineers fill that blank slate through a phase called training. This is a massive ingestion of information, where the system begins absorbing human culture. The network is fed almost everything we have ever written. It processes millions of books, decades of scientific research, and billions of everyday online conversations. This animated diagram shows how the system handles all that text. It isn't memorizing facts to repeat them later like a parrot. Instead, it mathematically maps the relationships between words, contexts, and ideas. Once that map of human language and logic is fully compressed and stabilized, developers have what is known as a foundation model. Through this exhaustive reading exercise, the machine gains a baseline understanding of how we communicate, how we structure our thoughts, and how we solve problems. With that baseline established, the system uses a technique called deep learning to apply its reading to complex, real-world tasks. Deep learning allows the network to process massive amounts of unstructured data and find the underlying meaning. That means it can read a dense, intimidating medical report and instantly translate it into plain language you can easily understand. It can also be trained to recognize hidden threats. Because it knows the standard patterns of human communication, it can quickly spot the subtle, manipulative linguistic tricks used in a phishing email or a financial scam. It can even generate highly personalized, culturally sensitive text messages designed to motivate older adults to stay active, adjusting its tone to fit the individual. By recognizing these patterns, the machine transitions from a passive student of text into an active tool that can help solve specific, everyday problems. But vast knowledge by itself presents a problem. A model trained on the entire internet has ingested our worst habits alongside our best. Without strict boundaries, its outputs are unpredictable. To fix this, human experts step in for a phase called tuning. This is a core part of AI governance, where developers establish strict ethical guardrails. This diagram shows tuning in action. Engineers place rigid parameters around the data, actively removing biases, protecting privacy, and enforcing safety rules. Through continuous feedback, the system learns. Erratic possibilities are filtered into a highly organized, predictable stream of behavior. A truly intelligent assistant is defined entirely by these restrictions. The value lies in the specific, human-designed limits placed on what it is allowed to do. When you place that fully trained and tuned system into an everyday environment, it doesn't take over. It sits quietly in the background. It cannot replace your judgment, your creativity, or your independence. Because it learned from our collective history and was then bound by our ethical rules, the software has been explicitly designed to serve us safely. Artificial intelligence is a carefully governed tool. It is waiting there, ready to simplify